Welcome everyone to Faffing with Friends. Now, I know you all loved the last guest episode. Everyone had such a great reception for Gary, even though he stuttered here and there and liked to look away from his mic a lot. Well, since we love you guys, we're bringing you another guest. I know, you're all losing your minds there at home. Would you like to introduce yourself, the amazing guest of this week?
Hi, my name's Liam. I'm part of a YouTube streamer group called RumHounds. It's me and two of our friends, Green and Brian. I'm sure these guys will be plugging us at the end, I guess. Maybe. We'll see. If we're lucky.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get plugged. You're going to get plugged so hard you won't ever want to be plugged again.
Only if the interview is good, Liam. Only if the interview.
Yeah, I ain't promising.
But yeah, as Liam has mentioned, he is part of a collective of RumHounds. And my first question towards you, as I imagine this is how this is going to go, is how did you come up with the name RumHounds? Where did you get it? How? I know you like to drink your rum, but how did that happen? How did that come into fruition?
When we were first bringing the group together, it was initially just me and Brian, given his love of dogs, Hound, me. You got the rum side, and there you go.
fair.
Trust me, we went through a lot of different names, and none of them stuck. This one...
So you just combined two things that you absolutely love, and yours just happened to be alcohol.
Yeah. And we had to make sure it wasn't used anywhere else. Fortunately, it wasn't used already, so it worked out. And then Green came into the picture.
And people say alcoholism never leads to anything wonderful.
It's moderation, but it is very tasty.
Moderation. Yes, RumHounds is a very creative name. We had a similar thing with when we were coming up with Faffing with Friends. We actually struggled for a bit, and we went to look to anything if it was taken, and we realized that it wasn't. It was just some one random YouTube video at the time of something called Faffing with Friends, and Joe over here was lucky enough to just pounce on it, and that's how we became Faffing with Friends. Was this the actual or final name you came to, or was it the very first? Because RumHounds wasn't the first name we went with.
It wasn't the first. We had a few terrible ideas. I forget most of them now. But
same case of us.
I don't think
I've already forgotten what the previous ones were, but
pretty much, yeah. They were so bad. It was just like the moment we had something decent and memorable, it's like forget them and bury them.
Those don't exist anymore. This is our name.
Yeah,
exactly.
So now we've got the name out of the question. For the technologically impaired people like myself, and as someone who has not ventured onto Twitch since ever really. Can you explain what it is that the RumHounds do?
So the RumHounds, we're just a collective of friends that like to game, essentially, and that's what you're going to find across the internet as a whole. And a lot of our content is us playing games together, montages or clips, or genuinely just random stuff. The main game we typically played, if you look at our content now, is Rainbow Six Siege, which...
Boo!
Yeah, at the moment I'm sick to death of it, uninstalled it, and we haven't made a lot of content recently besides streaming because one, some of us are working, and two, we don't play as much of the same games anymore. Yeah. So as a collective, we're each doing we're looking at our own individual projects, and hopefully we're going to be doing more stuff this year.
But is the YouTube channel going to be active? Obviously, this sounds like it's a career resurgence for you. You're kind of just like leaving one thing behind and just going into like your own thing, trying to experiment with different things. Obviously, I imagine you're trying to do more stuff on YouTube. So.
Everything we've done initially, the very beginning, it was YouTube initially, and Twitch was a side thing because it was something we could do during the week. And it's with YouTube, you kind of have to plan, edit, and actually record the content as well. Mm-hmm. Streaming is just something you can do on the day, and you can easily dip in, dip out.
Yeah, pretty much how we do our thing, isn't that right, boys? we have to go through.
It's pretty much hours and hours of hard work where Ivaylo only shows up for the recording.
Here we go again. Jesus.
That's a little unfair.
For everyone who doesn't know, I now have a full-time job and I'm grumpy. Live with it. That's the new way we're doing this podcast.
Well, congratulations on your new job.
Congratulations to Lawrence's new job and to the copious amounts of workload that we now have to take care of. Particularly Joe.
Yeah, I taught some people on this podcast how to edit as well, so now we're a real team. We're all doing hard work.
Are you ever going to teach Ivaylo?
No.
Yes, we'll get around to that.
I expect if I taught Ivaylo to edit, we'd lose all the tracks and one of the podcasts would have to be cancelled.
No, come on, that's not fair. That's unfair.
That or his laptop would explode the moment he tries to like edit anything.
The way it works is that since Ivaylo's the youngest, all our skills will trickle down to him eventually. Just like trickle down
Sooner or
economics.
later.
Is he effectively the intern?
Yeah.
I'm effectively the intern. Yeah, they just have me
And
writing.
when we retire, because our jobs are our true passions, and Ivaylo's left with the podcast all on his own, he'll have to learn all the secrets of the trade.
It'll just be faffing with
Yeah,
friends.
faffing with a stinking
Faffing with
Is this the roast of Ivaylo interview?
I'm so sorry.
Is this the roast of
Every
Ivaylo?
interview shall be the roast of Ivaylo interview.
Right, I have a question, Liam.
There we go.
So obviously it's gaming. You already have like a preconceived idea of what you want to do for an episode. But how do you come up with episodes? Or like videos, for example. I mean, not episodes.
So me and the other guys in the RumHound, we'd typically meet once a month just to go over ideas for videos. And so we have particular formats we want to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the month, we would just record our sessions gaming while playing, and while at the same time, when we have free time, going over previous recordings and sorting them into those categories.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we're going to be working for a YouTube video, we take the stuff that have been categorized and sort out which ones are absolute garbage and which ones are actual can be put into a quality video, and rinse and repeat over the following months. And you have videos coming out, you have recordings coming in, and yeah, we gradually grind through videos and actual recordings. So it's a grind, but we get content out pretty consistently. At least in the beginning we did. But yeah.
Fair play.
So for people who don't watch or know about your group, when you do make content, would you say you aim for that whole comedic side of the group dynamic, like the fun interactions between people playing games, between friends?
Absolutely.
Or would you say you go more for like skilled gaming and trying to show off that you're all good at whatever?
I'll say first off,
Good.
none of us are good at these games that we're playing. The content is literal random crap. It's you'll start watching a video and you'll have no idea what's going on. Well, you will, but you won't understand why.
Very avant-garde.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I think that not going for the whole pro gamer hyper focus style does help being funnier and actually entertaining.
Yeah, no one
So
likes to try
that's
hard.
the way I
To be
do
fair,
it.
on that point, it is, if you're going the whole pro gamer route, that is better for streaming because it's a lot harder to pull off the whole fun gaming side on streaming because you have to be consistent with it. And it's hard to just be funny all the time, every time. And it depends on the content that comes up. So that's why with YouTube, you can pick and choose and you put it all into videos and it's nicely done. Streaming, if you're really good at the game and pro gamer, it's constant. You can switch that on and switch that
Yeah,
off.
because people come in just for the gameplay. You may as well like not even say anything sometimes, where it's just look at how good I am, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then the comedy aspect from that can come if like you're the best gamer. Let's say like you're like a pro gamer, you've won esports titles, and then you have a substantial following, and then you have a very shit play, and then just the entire chat
Yeah,
just
exactly.
crops that one little bit
They're already
and just
there
mocks
for
you
the-
forever.
Exactly.
Do they? Oh, tell
They're
us about
already
that.
there
Tell
for
us about
the
that.
if they're already there for the skill and such. It's even better when they see you fail because of how much commitment you've put into the game, how good you are. That when you lose, it's that much more impactful.
Yeah, it's more banterous.
Exactly. You see them rage because they're so committed to it.
Rage. I was
I
actually.
want to touch on something before we move on here.
on.
So we mentioned Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh yes.
Now, I know one of the reasons maybe why you're sick of the game, one of the reasons I was sick of the game other than the additions Ubisoft was making was the community was incredibly toxic and incredibly sweaty. What do you think? Was that like the main factor in you guys not maybe playing that as the main game anymore and deciding to try other things?
It's all of the above. Ubisoft still going downhill. Every change they've made, even the Ubisoft Connect, they buggered up the UI as soon as it came out, and it's better. It's no longer zoomed into hell, but it's still quirky. The community's still toxic, and the sweatiness somehow has gotten even sweatier to the point where everyone you play against who's low level, you already know they're a smurf. The new blood in the game is pretty limited.
Yeah.
And almost the best way to describe it is you face less sweat in a ranked match than you do in a casual.
Yeah.
Which is quite amusing.
Exactly.
No, I do remember even back when I used to play it, the only times you'd really run into new players were like the free weekends where
Yeah.
Ubisoft would just make the game free on Steam and a billion little new players would come in and you'd be like, the game's finally fun again. These guys don't know all the peak spots. They don't know that if you break that window, you can spawn kill the whole enemy team.
Pretty wonderful stuff. And I did actually want to touch on not just on Rainbow Six Siege, but, we're all multiplayer gamers at some point, some more than others. I personally, and I know Lawrence personally, and definitely Joe, we do prefer our single-player games, but we do have experience with multiplayer stuff. I believe Lawrence is quite skilled at Destiny 2. You can correct me on that, but I believe you're...
I mean, I have 1,000+ hours.
Yeah, you're
I'm
quite
okay.
skilled on that. I'm quite skilled at Smite, and it's one of my main multiplayer games.
Some would say,
Lawrence, shut up, but and I don't know, Joe, do you play any multiplayer games? Just for the sake of the conversation, what's something that you've played for multiplayer?
Bro, literally Halo.
Fair, yeah.
When it first,
Halo's a good
yeah, when it first came out on Halo 3, when it first came out on Xbox, way back, and then now my potato of a PC can only barely run Reach, and Lawrence knows how annoying it is for me to be able to sync with his PC.
yes, when I play with Joe on his current PC, we'll get into even a campaign mission, right? And I'll load in, and then it'll take about a minute and a half until Joe appears into the game, because he's just loading for a while.
You can see we're a very technologically advanced podcast.
No, I think I bought Halo 3 at launch, and it was the reason I bought a 360, and it was like my first console with like multiplayer connectivity.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that game I think got me into more like consistently playing.
Yeah.
I'd played since I was really little on my computer. I'd have like entire arcade rips where you'd have like hundreds of arcade cabinet games on little programs. I had all that kind of stuff. I was gonna ask Liam, what got you into video games as a thing that you wanted to do more than just playing in your free time, as a thing that you do more with now, where you record it and you do it with friends and you let other people watch?
Yeah.
The thing that got me into video gaming was conveniently also Halo 3
Hell.
and Halo Reach.
Excellent.
But the recording side of things was actually Siege, because I played a lot, because at the time I was introduced to the game by my friend Brian, who's also in the RumHound, and at the time Green also played, so
Shout out to Brian and to Green, shout out.
and playing it as a group, it was a whole lot of fun, and the community was better than it is now. So I enjoyed playing it for a good 2-3 years, and around the start of that, me and Brian decided, let's try making content from this, because all of our sessions were absolutely stupid with the amount of random crap that would happen. So we thought we could probably make some good content from this. And so we gave it a shot.
If I remember correctly, you used to do this thing before you started making content. I don't know if you've done it when you're making content now, but you guys used to play the game and you would like do like drinking games. Anytime someone would die, you would like down a shot or whatever, something like
that
that.
sounds fun.
yeah.
Have you guys done that for a recording?
Me and Brian did that on a recording, yeah. So in fact,
Yeah.
it was horrendous, because if you
I can imagine.
if you get knifed, you take a shot. And it's because me and Brian were pretty bad at the game, if you got to kill, the other person took a shot. And
Ooh.
we got drunk very quickly, and for some reason Brian got better as the more he drank, to the point where he did one round he just gets an ace, and I'm like, how? And immediately
We should do this more.
So did you enjoy those 5 shots in a row?
it sucked ass, but by the end it was nuts. We both died for like 2 days afterwards, but it was interesting. The looking over it at the end or afterwards was absolute cringe, but we had a blast during it.
Makes sense.
It's fun to do, but if you're recording it, it's just cringe. If you look over it, it's maybe more fun if you get someone else to edit it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, no,
Tell me about
we
it.
have learned one thing editing this podcast. It's that when we have to go back and listen to
Yes.
ourselves,
Yes.
we learn to really hate ourselves.
Yes.
after.
I learned to hate in even greater detail because I'm transcribing and I have to listen to it twice or 3 times to get every single I or every single speech impediment which I have or which anyone else may have to just like get rid of. So I know the pain. I know I'm behind on the transcripts, everyone. Allow me, they're coming. Relax yourselves.
Yeah, in a
don't
few
worry,
months, he'll get to episode
Yep.
5. Don't
We'll
worry.
get there in a minute.
There is a
But
point
yeah.
during transcription where if you do it for too long, everything starts to just like you start to stop understanding English at all.
Yeah,
And
that is
it's
so
just
true.
at that point you just give up.
It is
Yes.
so
What are
true.
these people saying? Why am I I
Why
here?
am I? What life choices led me to this moment?
I did a speed run on the first episode, the transcript for the first episode, and I know completely what you mean. I had to do it over the weekend before launch, and I was like, because I really wanted it to be up, because we want our show to be as inclusive as possible.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was such a godsend when Ivaylo said, "Would you mind if I take over?" And I was like, "Yes, take over, please."
Of course.
Funny enough, the very first videos we did, I did all of the editing and subtitles for it. And for the first few, it was okay, but I eventually, you'll notice if you ever look on the YouTube channel that we cut off at a certain point. And that's because I completely burnt out from it. I got sick to death of all of the editing and subscribing because they were like 10-minute long videos and the clips were maybe either 2 minutes or even 30 seconds long, depending on what they are. And it just burnt me out. And we only picked it up again once we distributed the load because I just refused. I'm not doing all of the editing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of video essays, especially based on games.
Yeah.
And for years now, I've pretty much been writing scripts, collecting footage, and then I get to the editing process. And for video essays, they're usually an hour or so, right?
Yeah.
So when I have like 60 hours of footage in Destiny 2 and I have the script written and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I have to now edit this to the script and to what I'm recording to say. I completely burn out. I never upload anything as a result. So I have like multiple projects that just sit there for years on my hard drive. And someday I might finish them. But my God, editing anything of that length is just, you may as well not.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's quite the journey.
What did end up happening, that did really help was because we record in bulk, I wrote a few scripts that would essentially grab them and cut them up into 5-minute segments, and then it would upload them to our drive and we would review them we'd essentially get a batch each week and we'd review them, and that's how we did quality check, and if we rated how good the clips were or if there was any funny moments within that, and then we'd categorize them. And then from there, they didn't even have to edit the sections that were good. They would just rename it to the start stamp and the end stamp. And then I'd have another script I'll cut it to what they need and put it back. And then we'd have those clips to put in a compilation.
Sounds very awesome. Not gonna lie.
The other thing I looked at the other day is because I've tried automating transcription before, but there never seems to be any that are good.
Yeah.
But the one I did using AWS Transcribe, it was good enough to also be funny, and you can fine-tune it if you have your own model, which is a lot of work, and I might do in the future, but I might use that as the baseline, and I would recommend it to you guys, because
I think nowadays it is what we do. I think we run it through a program, maybe, and then we go through it to make sure that the program actually got it as accurate as we can, right?
Yeah, that's I think the best thing, because it gets a lot of the structure and everything, all of the usual text.
Yeah.
But there are some words, due to pronunciation, it just absolutely...
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, especially with, like, you have different people, different accents. You listen to Ivaylo talk, you listen to Joe talk, you listen to me talk. It's like the computer's never going to know what the fuck all three of us are saying.
It can't even get my name right. I've seen so many different versions of my name spelled. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. And I'm sure you have a story about my name, which can go out there now publicly if you want to do that.
Yeah, please tell us embarrassing stories about Ivaylo. That's one of the best things about having friends of his as guests.
So when I met Ivaylo, I met him through a mutual friend called Jamal. And I never properly got introduced, so all I heard was, like, Ashley Wood, someone calling him by a certain name. So I heard Tyler, and that's what I assumed his name to be, and that's what I called him for the following months, and he responded.
I never heard that. Oh my God.
One day,
to this day.
He just turns to me and like, by the way, my name's not Tyler, it's Ivaylo. I'm like, bro, what do you mean? I've been calling you Tyler for the past few months. What?
Nah, bro, I swear to God, I've never heard that man call me Tyler.
I have an old text to Jamal asking, are you and Tyler coming out yet from the college? And I'm like, I'm not making this up.
So everybody knew who Tyler was, but Ivaylo.
Exactly.
Honest to God, honestly, I've never heard that name ever be addressed towards me.
Ivaylo, are you Tyler Durden? Is there a secret you're keeping from us?
I really hope not. God damn. But
that's a great story, though. That's a great story.
That is how me and Liam met, and the reason why he's here on this podcast doing all this good shit.
Well, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, what else I was going to ask? You mentioned technology and models. I did want to ask you, obviously, since, again, we mentioned we are a very technologically impaired podcast. I'm still passing the
Except for me.
Except for, obviously, the main man, Lawrence. I am still passing the basket of donations if anyone wants to donate.
If anyone wants to just buy Ivaylo a PC so we can do some editing.
And me, honestly. And
Joe.
It takes a lot of effort and time on this stupid PC. It takes me 12 hours longer than Lawrence to make it. Let's just put it that way.
Jesus Christ. And I did want to ask you, what is your setup? What do you think is like a good setup to like do all
That's
this
a great
kind of
question.
stuff?
Give us specs. Give us specs.
Yeah, give us the specs. Give us your mic. Give us everything. You know, a good streaming PC. Go for it.
All right, the mic is a Snowball Blue.
Ooh, you're on a snowball,
Yeah.
huh? I'm a Rode NT man myself.
Okay. All right. Everything I've got peripheral wise is SteelSeries. It's the company I love. Spec wise for the PC, it's if you're going for your storage, first of all, I'd recommend either 2 different drives or 3 if you have got space.
Yep.
One being a hard drive just for pure blanket storage. You're not going to install programs or such on it, or it's usually just to keep stuff on, like files and such. Your operating system, you're going to have on an SSD, or if your motherboard supports an NVMe, which is what these imagine like a stick, like a USB stick that's flat. You'd plug it into your motherboard, and it's probably 10 times faster than an SSD read and write. They're a bit expensive,
nice.
but if you get a 2 terabyte one, you're going to be sorted regarding your OS. It's going to boot up super clean, even when you install programs. But usually, if you're going to install programs, you'd put it on your second drive, which will be an SSD. So the 2 ones you need is either 2 SSDs, one for your OS, another one for all of your programs and such. Then you're golden. You don't have to worry too much until you outgrow your PC. And that point,
Yeah, the nicest thing is that you just described my actual storage
Yeah.
setup.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
there you go. But
What would you have for the SSD? What capacity would you
If
recommend?
it's going to be an OS, 2 terabyte, just so you can, if you do put stuff on it, you slowly grow into it. Anything else, you can plug and play. You swap out whenever you need. And because it's not the OS and you're not installing a lot of stuff on it, you're usually good to go, regardless of how you grow.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. See, there you have it, boys. That's your perfect.
That's not
That
it
was-
yet.
that
That's
was
not
just
it.
storage.
What's your graphic card? How much RAM do you have? Ivaylo has no idea what makes a computer.
Yeah, we need more, Ivaylo. Hold on. We're trying to build a PC here together, Ivaylo.
So for
remember.
everyone listening, this is the level Ivaylo understands
Shut the
technology.
fuck up,
He's heard a
Lawrence.
bunch of hard drives, and that's a PC to Ivaylo. Welcome to our world.
He only cares about storage.
But yeah, what's your processor? What's your graphic card? Do you have a capture card? All that
I
stuff.
don't have a capture card. A graphics card is a 1070.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, I can't upgrade that due to the current market.
Oh yeah, no, right now, for anyone
Doesn't
who
exist.
doesn't know, at the time that we're recording, because of COVID, crypto mining, everything in the world, a single graphic card costs more than most people's cars. So welcome to the
and
modern
It's
world.
dumb.
Think if those cars, you can't even see them. Imagine everyone's riding bikes. You don't see the cars. They're just out of stock everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember when the 12 gigabyte one for NVIDIA came out recently, the 3070.
Yep.
It was out of stock immediately. Someone made a video where they refreshed the page as they were waiting for it to go on sale, and then it was immediately out of stock
And I
because
mean,
all
a
the
big
bots had bought it
issue
up.
lately has been scalpers, especially during the pandemic because of limited stocks. You know, same thing happened with the
PS5.
new generation of consoles.
PS5.
Exactly. It's just people buy that shit, resell it at ridiculous values.
It's a really dick move.
But
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And the
I
only
mean, it's
thing-
a hustle, but you know, still, you are assholes.
I think
Stop
the-
The
hustling.
only thing you can do is with that is just to not buy from them, because then they're gonna have like a shit ton of
That's
stock
the
and then
thing.
you're gonna lose money. So you know.
if the I'll say the GPU or graphics card drought of 2021 and 2022.
Yeah.
I hope it's just 2020, but if I expect it to go into the next year, given the current state of
Yeah,
things.
I think it will.
Yeah, eventually you're going to get desperate enough. Like you do just need a better graphics card,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and that's the unfortunate thing. I think the entire reason behind why there was such shortage was due to COVID, and whatever material they were using to build the cards was in short supply due to the entire situation. I think someone was saying, well, one rumor was that it was due to the supply chain being cut due to the workers not being able to work,
Yeah.
which makes valid sense. But yeah, the 20 series sold out, 30 series sold out, even the 10 series sold out. And that in of itself,
Yeah.
people didn't buy those because of like they were the 10 series and there was the 20 series, which was usually good. When I decided I need to get a graphics card, it was just before the 30 series came out, and I thought, okay, I'll just wait some time and see if these prices drop, and then I'll get one. A few months later, I completely regret my decision, and instead of just getting a semi-decent graphics card, even another 1070 would be good.
You still have a pretty good graphics card because
you compare your specs to Joe's PC, and it's like a rocket ship.
Yes, because not long before 3090, the one you have now was the flagship for Nvidia, wasn't it? It was a flagship graphic card.
2080 was the flagship for NVIDIA until the 30 series.
Yeah.
Oh, was that?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
my
entire
bad.
20 series.
Yeah, it goes 10, 20, 30, simple numerical upgrade.
But you're absolutely right about the upgrade. But as you were saying, so what's your RAM? What would you recommend? Like stuff. I mean, then we'll move on to other
I
questions.
assume you managed to get like decent other components because the GPUs are bullcrap price, but you can still find RAM and other
absolutely.
stuff for good
The
lately.
CPU is, I think it's the i7 8700K, which is an 8.
Nice.
Oh, exact same CPU as well. Man, are
Yeah.
we like the same guy? What's
I
going
really
on?
hope not.
Both working men, both just angry at the world. I'm kidding.
So realistically, I am just talking into two different mics, just two different accounts.
Yeah. This is the use
is
of an
a-
omnidirectional mic, Ivaylo. I just run to the other side.
That is a long-standing theory that Faffing with friends is just one person talking
I
to
mean, you
themselves.
have a guy called
separate
called
personalities.
Tyler now, so you know
Oh.
it's
There you
looking
go.
more and more likely.
Don't tempt me. I'll start calling you that for the rest of this session.
Please don't.
How do you feel, before we move on with your specs, how do you feel about like Intel becoming the worse and worse like CPU
Yes.
choice as time has been going on?
It really depends on your build, because if you're looking at more specialized stuff, then yeah, Intel's
Yeah.
it's starting to slack. If you're coming from a completely commercial perspective where you'll just need a laptop to do general work stuff or just general things, Intel is perfectly fine because it's a lot more stable compared to AMD. The whole difference between AMD and Intel was surely due to the cache size.
Yeah.
I think AMD wanted larger cache, Intel wanted smaller, and that's the main divergence, but there's a whole lot of different things I'm not even going to touch.
Those new Ryzens are tasty looking though, aren't they?
Yes.
The whole thing with the RAM, 16 is all you need. Like 8, you'll get by 16.
Yeah.
If you,
I would say if you edit as often as I do, maybe get a bit more just for when stuff starts really running.
if you're trying
slow.
to put in an hour-long clip video recording into a freaking editor, then I'm not surprised it shits itself. Because you're trying to load all of that into memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would usually recommend cutting it down and then editing it. But
Right.
I made that mistake of trying to put a 4 gig video into an editor and it just broke. But yeah, 16 is usually the sweet spot. If you need more than that, usually you're not going to need it unless you're using Chrome.
Yes.
That finds a way to eat what you have somehow.
Yeah, I try to get everyone I know to just switch to Firefox. It's so hard to just make them understand that they're going to have a better, easier time with their worst PCs if they just do that.
Yeah, if you
I know where I'm going if I need to build a PC, guys. It's a Faffing with friends.
Oh, God.
Hey, man, I have to advertise us. I have to advertise anything we do. And
No,
you
please
know,
do.
this
Please
is-
do. That's a good
We
idea.
have PC experts here, as given by everyone.
Disclaimer, do not take anything we say to
yeah,
heart.
please
Honestly,
do proper research.
Do
This
your
is just
research, obviously.
personal opinions.
Yeah.
When you do start looking into building a PC, I'm happy to offer up any opinions or help because I've built my
Hell
current PC.
yeah.
Ivaylo I've already
Hell
offered, and I'm already regretting it. But hey,
Shut up.
I cannot wait for Ivaylo to build his PC and just friction touch his shit, his motherboard, and just fry it.
bro,
instantly.
I almost did that.
I explode.
When I first built my PC, everything was there. It stopped working, and I thought I'd accidentally fry. So I screwed everything in. It would stutter, and then stop, and then it would rinse and repeat. And I thought it was the CPU because it would be fine once I took it out. So I thought, shit, I bought this CPU.
So you thought you'd staticked it, and that was it.
So I got another CPU. Still same problem. Changed the power because it could have been power supply. Still same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out one of the screws was causing the entire thing to short circuit, and I got so pissed off it. I left it for a few months. Came back to it. It turns out to be a screw, and it was just so frustrating. Fortunately, I had a spare processor when I eventually did break it when I was doing an upgrade, but it was fine.
Yeah. There you have it. I'm if this video gets to 100 likes, I will build the PC on stream, on video. Let's go.
You're too cheap to buy the parts. Anyway.
Let's go. Listen, I made a commitment.
For anyone that wants to watch the equivalent of that one video we all made fun of for months of that guy at that magazine building a PC, the worst thing I've ever seen. Please give us 100 likes. I want Ivaylo to embarrass himself in front of everyone.
I'm still waiting for the 100 likes from Gary's episode where I reveal my saxophone pictures. So, you know, if we...
It's getting there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You can't tell me it is. But yeah.
Don't worry. With the new guest we brought in, our audience will quadruple.
I think the main disclaimer, I think you should, or the main requirement is if Ivaylo's going to build a PC stream, the only help he'll get is a set of instructions on a piece of paper. That's it.
Nah, come on.
Actually, I had a better idea. You know how there was a Twitch chat plays different games on Twitch where the chat had to just send in instructions?
Oh my gosh.
I want to get the chat to try and guide Ivaylo through building his PC.
I'm happy if you guys guide me, not some random people in the chat. I'm sorry. You can backseat me. I don't mind.
Twitch has done some really incredible things with that kind of style.
I mean, they beat a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon,
I was about to mention that. Yeah, that was absolute. They did it in such an incredible time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even a normal playthrough would have taken longer for me to complete, I swear to God. And they completely smashed the game.
The power of a million randoms spamming commands.
Nah, Twitch has been amazing, not gonna lie. Twitch is a great platform, and I believe that it's done more good than bad.
Did you say you haven't gone on Twitch?
Yeah, but I can get behind what it's doing. I
just
support
he
what
doesn't
it's doing,
pop in
I can definitely say
it's
done more good. It's done more good than bad for the community. So I actually just want to touch upon one final thing for me personally. Mm-hmm. You obviously mentioned how you gave up on Rainbow Six Siege because you hated the community, and same with like multiplayer games in general, Smite and Destiny or whatever have you. And I'm guilty of this. I'm certainly guilty of this, and I'm sure Lawrence has, and I'm sure you've been at some point. The toxicity, man. How do we decrease the toxicity? How do we combat being so toxic?
Decrease? Yeah, I just out-toxic whoever I'm talking to. I call them everything in the book, and then I'm like, yep, I won.
That makes the experience so much more terrible.
Well, it only does if you take it to heart. I'm in there, like, anytime someone starts shit-talking me, I will say the weirdest insults back. Like, oh, I find you attractive, too. Thanks. Oh,
you're one of those people.
See,
hell yeah.
The toxicity is bearable if, like, you're actually having a good time anyway, regardless of it. If you're having a good time then and the toxicity comes in, it's more funny than anything else, and you can handle it.
Yeah. I have a rule at this point. I don't play multiplayer games that are team-based without friends.
That's the thing.
I just don't bother solo
That's
things
my solution as well.
If you play by yourself and it's harder to deal with toxicity. If you're with friends, it's just funny. You have a laugh.
Yeah.
But if it's causing to lose, it will be sheer frustration. But that in of itself will be content.
Going into R6 Siege solo ranked and just getting tilted every day was like, I don't want to play alone. Games aren't fun.
I have a better time ranked solo than I do with friends because their elo is just too high. But
yeah, they drag you into impossible
with some
matches.
Other friends, our elo is it's the proper elo. It's not diamonds or freaking plats. Mm-hmm. It's we find utter complete retards, and I genuinely I've never seen one man run into every single Capcan trap in a row. And it's crazy. The fun thing with doing with friends is you start, because you do it often enough, you have running jokes. Like, for example, with Brian, he hates Capcan surely because he always dies to the traps every time. Yeah. And so, in the early days, me and Brian would sometimes do 1-on-1, and I'd always get him. The most iconic death would be he was prone going through a doorway, and then he decides to stand up, and he just dies because there's a Capcan
lasers.
And you can see some of these hilarious moments.
Oh, that is genuinely a clip on a video.
On their videos, yep, I knew that. I think I know the clip you're talking about. And also, but that's one of the benefits of also playing with friends, man. Obviously, you can form projects like this, creative endeavors such as RumHounds. Obviously, Faffing with Friends was not created purely on gaming, but we've touched upon gaming a lot since we're all gamers and we all have our favorite games. But, again...
Gamers rise up!
Gamers rise up, yeah, pretty much. But, in my personal experience... I am an emotional person. I get tilted very easily. It's not funny, and I'm trying to work on it. But
yeah, anytime I play Smite with Ivaylo, we start the day real happy. By the time we end it, he's always angry.
it's just because I don't have the communication. That's the thing. And even when I do have the communication, stuff gets lost in translation, and it's just the worst thing ever. And sometimes, I kind of take it out on the people on the team.
By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, Ivaylo plays on a console,
which is even worse.
He doesn't have a good enough PC. And when he gets angry, the most beautiful thing you ever hear happens, and that is you hear him angrily moving his controller sticks to type as quickly as he can, because he has to type with the on-screen keyboard on a console.
It's true.
So you'll hear him rage before you see his comments.
It's truly
and you know what's happening.
It's truly an experience.
It's like a warning, a heads up, just saying.
Yeah. And also,
just imagine the like angry tap of like the thumbstick hitting
Salt
the rims.
Incoming.
Assault literally incoming, Jesus. But yeah, I did want to ask one final thing, Liam. Has obviously with having a Twitch and having followers, it's obviously helped you grow and made some friends as well, right? Like it's improved like your quality of like the people we play with and your just gaming quality, just your gaming experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a full on gaming server, don't we? So everyone else plays. I have a server with Liam where I have people like I've never spoken to in my life, never even met, but they've all just met through common stuff, and it's truly a wonderful, beautiful thing. Like you meet all these people with a similar interest, and especially right now during the pandemic, it's just it's amazing. It's an amazing way to socialize.
If you're referring to PK's domain, my server, me and the other RumHounds were originally, we were thinking of having like a RumHound Discord server, but realistically, we spend too much time on that one server. It's just, we never made it public.
Yeah.
And on PK's domain, half of those people, I don't even remember meeting them. I think half of them were people Green knew, because he's a very avid online gamer. And the only reason he doesn't because me and Brian rotate streams, the only reason he doesn't is because his connection is absolute piss poor. Yeah. It's the main reason why he can't do a lot of editing, because he can't even upload stuff without it taking days.
So he's the Ivaylo of the group. I'm joking.
But he did animation, so he actually knows how to do it. He just doesn't have the tech to do it.
Was he there in the good old Flash days?
Oh yeah. He told me that when it was getting killed off, essentially. Mm-hmm. Very, very sad moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Flash, you were with us for so long.
R.I.P.
Hundreds of hours of entertainment on Newgrounds from Oni and other animators.
Don't forget mini clips.
Don't even start, bro. I absolutely loved Flash.
So, Liam, I've got two final questions. And before, anyone else want to ask any other questions, which is, first of all, what do you have in store for the future of RumHounds? What do you have planned? For
the future of RumHound? Given our recent lack of activity regarding video streams, we've been on as consistently. Brian does it Mondays and Wednesdays. I do it Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Mm-hmm, that's a good.
And it's usually whatever games we feel like doing at the time, or whoever's online. But for RumHound as a direction, we want to do more content on our YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And regarding Twitch, we want to expand on it a lot. We want to add proper features, because I feel like we've been neglecting that quite a bit. And that's with a lot of people that do Twitch, that is one thing you'll find, that they start out and then they'll start investing in plugins and such. They start trying things out.
Yeah.
That's an aspect I feel like we've neglected, which is why I'd want to spend a bit more time looking into that, because there's a lot of fun things you can do, and there's because I use OBS, there's also scripting capability as well, which I want to dabble with. There's a fun idea of doing volume modulation, so in case the volume is too low on some aspects, I can have it increase depending on previous input. But regarding the YouTube content, we had a call a week or so back, and we were hashing out ideas based on playthroughs and what kind of games we'd actually enjoy playing. So I don't have the list in front of me, which I'm disappointed, but there's playthroughs that Brian might be working on. Brian's always working on montages. He plays Warzone almost religiously, despite how much it pisses him off.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to until it started eating my hard drive, and I was like, I can't have you.
Essentially.
You need an actual drive to play the game, and it's just console. I don't even know why you'd bother.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, my entire PS4's hard drive is just Warzone.
They should just release a console just for playing that game.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I heard someone come up with a conspiracy that they're doing that intentionally so you can't have any other games on your hard drive.
Oh my, wow.
Are you guys planning on doing episodic walkthroughs? Because I'm a big fan. Back in the day when I was a poor boy and I had no sympathy, which is pretty much what I'm doing now, but I used to watch walkthroughs and playthroughs of games I couldn't afford, so I think that's always a beneficial thing to do, especially for single player games.
Ivaylo was PewDiePie's first ever subscriber.
I was there, bro. I was there watching Slender in 2013. I was there. You know,
if you enjoy the whole playthrough aspect, there's one particular YouTuber I absolutely loved because he commits to game playthroughs and goes through the entire game.
Yeah.
He, funny enough, reminded me a bit of Shay.
Oh, awesome.
His name was GarmHD. But yeah, if you want, especially old game like Jack and Daxter, he has walkthroughs for them.
Good stuff.
And it's absolute joy to watch.
I actually platinumed that game during the pandemic because I was bored.
I'm tempted to go back and play that game as well, but
yeah.
And the other question I actually wanted to ask, which is you touched upon it slightly there, which is who are your favorite gamers that are on Twitch and or YouTube?
YouTube and some of my favorite is, it depends on the game. Like with League, I like Tobias Fate just because of all his videos are just shit posts.
League of Legends.
Just shit posts.
Sorry.
And no, Ivaylo, you would even enjoy some of these clips because it is him just chatting shit about other people.
Ivaylo, talk over the guest again and I will kick you.
But he is a good player, which means you can have fun while watching it, and he's not always raging, which is fun, but you take it in doses.
I used to be big on playthroughs as well at some point, but it was never for the games because I always had a PC that could pretty much run anything, or a console at least. It was always, I found people that I really liked the personality of, and I'd have them in the background. There used to be a group, and then they broke up, but they were so fun to listen to. It was like two best friends play, and then it became super best friends play, and there was just 4 fucking dudes that went at it in different games. And it was just I loved it. It was such a good thing to have in the background. You could do work, you could do whatever, and you just listen to them fuck around.
That's Garm, who I mentioned before, was part of a group called Dirt Crew, and another person I was going to mention was Chilled Chaos.
I remember Dirt Crew, and I remember Garm now. Yes.
They're still going, and it's freaking great. Chilled got really... He's played with a lot of mainstream people as well, which is really, really cool.
I think Garm, I used to watch his StarCraft shit, because he did full playthroughs of those games, and they were so entertaining.
He still does them, and it's really, really good. I think there was one other Tio Gaming. He does streaming as well, and he does a lot of good YouTube videos as well. He's very consistent. He even has a thing for Tuesdays where it's mishmash. It's just random clips stuck together.
Yeah.
Nice.
But he's Swedish, but his personality and his group of friends are really good as well.
That's really good.
See, you're doing something to me that I didn't think would happen. Now I'm I'm thinking back on all the gaming content I used to watch and what I watch now. And the difference is so weird because I used to be, like we said, those kinds of groups. The Smart, was it the Derp Crew? Yeah, it was the Derp Crew. And they had Smarty and Chilled and Galm and Z and a bunch of dudes. And they used to do Worms. That was fucking funny because that was just random.
They still do that sometimes. It's great.
And it's now I'm mainly on stuff like long 6-hour video essays on games and really analytical documentary style shit. And I don't know what changed because I used to love that kind of group dynamic stuff. And now I don't know, I just don't watch it as much anymore.
If you love the video essays, have you seen the stuff from Soviet Womble?
Oh yeah, Soviet Womble. The fact that he goes through every video and subtitles it, even though it takes the amount of effort with the way he does the effects on subtitles, that still blows my mind to this day.
Yeah, his entire subtitling style is what I absolutely fell in love with and tried to use in my own videos.
I mean, it's an art, dude. That guy has it down to the perfect level, right?
Yeah.
Down to the T, yeah.
Good shit.
So one thing I noticed, Liam, I mean, obviously, we're not doing all of this just for the money, right?
We've made nothing so far, everyone.
Literally. We've actually made a loss so far.
Our microphones cost more than we'll ever earn.
Shut up, come on.
Yeah.
We're passing.
But we do these things because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun for us. It's fun for our viewers, right? I'm assuming it's the same for you. But what I've noticed is that the people like yourselves who continue to put out content, entertaining and good content, and do it for a long enough time, it actually becomes commercially viable for them. It becomes profitable.
Yeah.
Has that crossed your mind yet, you guys? for RumHound?
No, we have set up the foundations for it because the RumHounds as a collective, we formed it as a partnership, and unfortunately I've been saddled with handling the tax because someone's got to do it, and we haven't made any actual money of it yet. I think we've only received one payment from Twitch, and that was as a collective over time. You get your first payout from Twitch when you hit your first 100, and then that's it. So we got our first 100 after maybe a year or maybe 6-8 months, but we got that payout I think maybe the start of this year, and
wow,
about a third of that gets taken away due to Twitch being a US company and royalties and such, and so we just split the 60.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
that's still good. That's still good.
I mean, it's crazy how difficult it is at this point with how over saturated the internet has become with all types of things to get big doing anything.
I was gonna
you know what I mean?
That, it's so difficult.
Like, there's just so much content, man. There's people who can upload like 5 hours a day every day for 6 years, and it's like, how the fuck does
that's
anyone
the tough thing.
compete with that?
You can hire people to do that, especially if you have the money and you're willing to burn it. You can definitely commit to those kind of timetables.
But I'm saying more like the individual, right? How do you get to that anymore? If you don't have any money, if all you have is your own computer, the time in the day where you're not working, and like your ability to edit and play, and that's it.
That's what makes it so hard
to get to where some people use.
You're competing against people that have that freedom and that can upload that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to accept that you can't compete with their upload style, upload rates and such. So you just need to focus on what you enjoy, what kind of quality you want to output. Because
I think that's the weird reason I got like stuck on these video essays too. There's channels I watch that release like a video every 6 months because it takes them that long to make a quality video. But when they put something out, like there's one channel, White Light. Every time he puts out a video, it's like a retrospective of a game that's like an hour over or so. And it's like, it feels like an event, man. I'll sit down, I'll get some food, I'll be like, oh shit, it's a White Light
bring
video,
the family
bro.
around.
Feels like he's talking about Prototype. I haven't played that in a decade. Let's go.
And it's very difficult, but the thing is, obviously we're all doing this because it's a fun and nice way of like, we're meeting all these fun people. And Liam, you are actually part of the titular Faffing with Friends. Like, obviously we have us three, but it is with friends.
You're now part of the lore.
Yeah, you're not part of the lore, man. You're part
of
the lore of this podcast, and we're taking time to build our world and to build everything, and we all have our own quirky personalities. I love playing the idiots, and it's all fun.
He says playing idiot.
He's not, guys. He's being silly.
I'm joking,
silly,
but it's very fun, and it's if we ever make it big, we make it big. If not, and same goes for RumHounds. If you guys ever make it big, don't forget you've been on Faffing with Friends.
Absolutely.
You're good friends.
I mean, if we ever make it big, we'll take everyone that has been with us. So we're not gonna like abandon anyone.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of it.
Much the same. I do appreciate you guys bringing me on, though.
Thank you so much for being on.
Fun.
It's a great pleasure.
You were an amazing guest.
We'd love to have you on again.
So much talking. Well done. I'm very impressed. I could have taken this episode off.
Bruh, I feel like I didn't talk enough regarding some points, to be honest. Because with some of the questions, I know we dipped into it, but I feel like we didn't fully answer some of the questions. Like when you're interacting with your kind of community, or even discussing like the oversaturation, saturation. Jesus.
Don't worry. Ivaylo does that all the time.
Yeah. The oversaturation, you just have to be willing to accept like what you enjoy, and if you ever reach a point where you're not enjoying it, take a step back and just think about, okay, what would you rather do?
Yeah, even like reinvent the content, right? Like try something different.
Which is literally what I'm currently doing with my channel.
Which is what RumHounds are doing, because obviously you guys said you're leaving Six Siege behind until it gets better, or if it just doesn't.
Or it dies.
I'll reinstall it in like 6 months' time, and like, when I get nostalgic and think, I'll give it another shot. Reinstall it, play a game, completely uninstall it again. I'll give it another 6 months.
Yeah, fair.
If you feel like trying it again, let me know. I haven't played that shit in way too long.
I was meant to ask, you mentioned Halo before. Are you playing MCC?
Bro, I've got the MCC all the time. Anytime I'm bored, it's like, what do I love playing? What doesn't make me angry? What touches my nostalgia? It's Halo.
Recently, I say recently, I haven't played in the past few weeks, but about a month or two ago, I got into I reinstalled it and started playing it all. I did the ODST campaign, Legendary, did Halo 3, Halo 3 Legendary, Halo 1 Legendary. I need to do 2, but that is horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got...
Oh, yeah, it's the worst one. So I actually, because I played them so much back on console, as they started coming out for MCC, I decided to torture myself to the worst degree I've ever tortured myself in my life. Now, I'm someone who's platinumed every Dark Souls game.
Yep.
That's the kind of person I am, right? So I was like, you know what? I've never done lasso in these games. You know, all skulls on Legendary. I managed to lasso Reach and CE, and then I just stopped. That shit is... I'm never doing that to myself ever again.
I remember on the original Halo Reach, you'd have like weekly stuff where you do lasso for a mission. I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never done a lasso campaign, and there's a playlist for that, and you get achievement for it. But
oh yeah, I got the little name card now, so anytime someone matches with me, they immediately leave because they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
And I'm not surprised, but it takes a lot of commitment and sheer utter patience to deal with a lasso mission.
You want to know how many
I don't
hours
want to.
it took me
It
to
takes
do CE?
it takes like hours just to do one mission. How much did it take for CE?
Yeah. Okay, so CE, which is arguably the longest missions in the series, took me 47 hours to lasso.
What the
Christ, how'd you have the patience, bro?
Just for context, lasso means every skull, or almost every skull on, which one skull, for example, doubles their health. Another means they drop half ammo.
Yeah.
And one even upgrades all of their classes to the next tier up.
Yep, and then there's the favorite, can't see HUD, can't see ammo, can't
and
see
then there's
everything.
iron, which means when you die, restart the mission. Especially if you're doing solo. Jeez.
Oh, Lord.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I pretty much had to learn it like by heart. Every level I'd run again and again and again until I knew it by heart. And you know, I said I wouldn't do it to myself again. Do you know what I've also done?
What?
And I just realized I beat Doom Eternal on Ultra Nightmare.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Which is the same thing. You die, you restart the whole game.
See, that's the thing. That's when gaming just turns insane for me. It's
Yeah, but Ivaylo, I have a golden armor.
No one can
Doom.
touch that.
No one can say that.
but why would you do that to yourself? That's just torture.
But at some point, it's just clicking and tapping of keys, right? At that point, you're just trying to get through
it's
the
a lot more
game
than that. It's
without
emotional.
Oh
actually-
yeah, no. I think the way I did it, it's literally, it would get to the point where I memorized. I just memorized levels. I memorized spawns. I memorized everything, and I would go through like a checklist mentally of what I'm doing. So it wouldn't be a game anymore. It would be like, I know the sequence that I'm having to input on this keyboard and this mouse, and I just have to do it.
I've never pushed it to that level. I've done Legendary, which in of itself is a kick in the teeth. Not so much Lasso, that's just getting beaten up. But
Yeah.
Legendary, if you're doing it solo, it's just an absolute pain in the ass. If you're with someone, at least you can manage. You can grind through the missions. But when I initially started playing Halo, I did campaigns. I never was fully into the multiplayer except for custom games on Halo 3 and Forge.
Oh yeah, no, custom games is where I spent my most time back on the 360. Playing like Jenga
Forge was where I lived.
all that shit. Fat Man.
But when it came to Reach, that's where I rarely did online. I only did Forge and multiplayer. Driving was my favorite aspect of the game, but Forge, this is how much time I spent in Forge. I got through the entirety of the Warrant Officer rank just by playing Forge. That was rank 1, 2, 3.
I don't even remember if Forge gave you level up points, man.
It gave you 50, 60 credits.
Oh my fucking...
And I got through the entirety of...
Did you at least build some sexy maps?
Oh, absolutely. I was sick at Forge.
Hell yeah.
Awesome stuff. I'm very happy that this podcast happened. I don't know about you guys, but this episode is just like, this has been very awesome.
Yeah, this has been good.
I'm very happy as well. Well, Liam, now that you're introduced to us and everyone else, we'd love to have you on again another point and talk about all the other questions that we didn't and anything, because I'm sure there's bound to be some seismic activity in gaming at some point, right? So we could always have you on and talk about that.
You can be an honorary member of Faffing with Friends.
Yeah, and we've promised every single guest so far, which obviously means one other person, that they can come back if they ever feel like it, and
Absolutely.
I would love to come back.
love
It's
for you
been
to
an
come
absolute pleasure.
Of course, man. Of course. Thank you for coming. Obviously, I'm gonna leave it to the guys to plug you into if you can plug yourselves. But I hope you guys enjoyed my good friend Liam, and subscribe to RumHounds. Check them out on Instagram on all their stuff, and take it away, boys.
Yeah, so please, Liam, go ahead and promote your stuff, and then I'll.
Yep, you can find us on YouTube as RumHounds, and same on Twitch. On Instagram, we're Free RumHounds. It's me, Brian, and Green, and yeah, we rotate through those, and yeah, I'll send through the details to these guys, and I'll make sure to plug them as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much for
boys
that.
check the description and you'll find them there as well. So don't worry if you suck at like hearing and typing things. We've got you covered.
Whether you're on YouTube or any of the podcasting platforms, all of their links and details will be in the description. So you do know that on podcast platforms, the descriptions do have links that work. So do check those out, guys.
And thank you as always for checking us out, guys. You can also check out some of my own personal writing, which I have done at Ivaylo's The Physicality of Music. It is the brand new blog which I've started writing, and it will be a weekly thing. Hopefully we can be putting out weekly updates, and hopefully you guys give it a read and enjoy some of my amazing vinyls, which I will also be showcasing and discussing. And hopefully I will be able to hear from you guys as well. Some of your favorite vinyls and albums.
And so thank you for listening to us. I've been Joe. This has been Faffing with Friends. Do the usual, guys. It should be on the screen now because I've been adding him to the videos. So like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell, because not many of you seem to be ringing the bell.
Yeah, please do these things. I know we say it every time, but none of you are doing it. Please.
Yeah, share it with your family, friends, with Randy, your fifth cousin
Randy,
third time removed, cousin Randy, and make sure that if we have a poll, we might have a poll for this. Mention some of the games that we've mentioned, and see what you guys think is the best one,
or your favorite PC specs,
Absolutely, that's a great idea. I'll do that poll for that. So make sure to just participate, please.
Hell yeah!
Because that's how we know whether you enjoy our content and what you enjoy the most, so we can do more of that. So that's been me. Thank you. Hand it over to you guys.
Okay, well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lawrence is going away now. He'll be back someday, but he works hard now.
He's a hard-working man. This has been Ivaylo. Thank you for joining us, Liam, as always. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.